Hi, this is Mark Stanfield. Welcome to the 2019 Homelake Veterans Community Garden. We have a special distinction this year of being awarded a certification from the Veterans Coalition of America. We are now listed as a homegrown by heroes operation, which allows us to sell our produce at farmers markets, at stores, with the label Homegrown by Heroes on it. And it also gives us the opportunity to help incoming veterans who are returning from the wars back to the valley to intern on our farm, as well as two others that I am in alliance with. And this is a great opportunity for them to get established, to get their feet back on the ground after coming back from war and getting into a farming situation. But we will update you more on that as the year progresses. What I'd like to do right now is explain to you what we plan to produce this year. And as you can see in front of you is the map of the new garden. We've expanded it by 800 square feet. We moved it actually 10 feet to the west, and what we will have planted is on this outside are all giant sunflowers. They'll be about 10 feet tall. The next row is multiple sunflowers. They're about 8 feet tall and get 8 to 10 blossoms on each plant. The next row is hollyhocks. They'll get to be about 8 feet tall, and this will serve as a windbreak for our corn and the rest of the garden, because most of the wind comes from the west and the north. We will have 4 rows of corn. This should actually produce over 368 years of corn. This is a row of golden zucchini. Golden squash zucchini, and this is zucchini elite. This row is fava beans. Fava beans are important to some medical patients around here, because it is the only food in the world that is a natural source of dopamine, which helps people with Parkinson's disease. This is a row of nasturtiums. And this is a row of bush snap beans. We'll start over here on the other row. We're going to have 2 rows of cantaloupes. Here, these first 2 rows will be Oregon giant peas. The next 2 rows will be Mr. Big peas. This row will be Swiss chard. This will be black-seeded Simpson lettuce. This will be iceberg head lettuce. This will be romaine head lettuce. And all 6 of these rows will be radishes. 2 rows each of cherry bell, 2 rows each of white icicle, and 2 rows each of fire and ice, which are half red, half white. And then we will have 2 rows of Bloomsdale spinach. On this side, we will have 3 mounds of watermelons, 3 mounds of sweet reward hybrid melons, and we will have 2 mounds of Casper pumpkins, which is a white pumpkin, and 2 mounds of regular pumpkins. In this row here will be rosemary. Then we'll have 2 rows of carrots, a row of rutabaga, a row of purple top white globe turnips. We will have 2 rows of cucumbers for a total of 14 cucumber plants. And in between those, we will have marigold plants. And the reason we plant so many flowers, of course, is to attract the bees, which will pollinate all the vegetables that we have. Underneath the cucumbers, we have Greek oregano and a vegetable called arugula. What that is an addition to salads. It's very tasty. Okay, and on this top row here, we have 10 plants of super beefsteak tomatoes, 10 plants of celebrity hybrid tomatoes, 10 plants of big boy hybrid, 5 plants of chocolate sprinkled cherry tomatoes, and 5 plants of cherry drops cherry tomatoes. Underneath that, we have a plant called borage. And what that is a green bushy plant with bright blue flowers. The bright blue flowers attract an enormous amount of bees, and the leaves can be used in either salads or it can be used to flavor lemonade. And in this row here, we have gigantic chives, which will grow to about 1 foot to 8 inches, which will be great in salads. And here we have the peppers. We'll have bell peppers, chili peppers, jalapeno peppers, and sweet banana organic peppers. The next row will be red Russian kale, which is excellent for salads. And the next row is evergreen hardy bunching onions, which are basically garden onions that you serve in salads, tacos. And underneath that, we have 2 rows of the Texas super sweet onions. And these onions are pretty special. They'll mature in 80 days. They'll be the size of grapefruits and incredibly sweet. And underneath that, we have 2 rows of beets. And underneath that is another row of kale, which is called lacinato dinosaur kale, which looks very prehistoric and is actually Italian. And down here are the raised beds that we built that are 10 foot by 4 foot. Now these will no longer be in the garden. We're going to be placing these in front of the History Museum on the sidewalk so that all the people with walkers and wheelchairs can access them. And in this one we have basil, called parsley, chervil, and dill. In this one we have chives, parsley, basil, and echinacea. In this one we have kale, basil, and nasturtiums, which will probably be changed because I'm leaving this up to the people who want to seed it. And we have one more bed that will be filled with thyme and fennel. Fennel is actually an herb that is a perennial that will come back each year. And what it tastes much like celery. And since we can't grow celery here, I thought fennel would be a good choice to put in. And underneath that we have spearmint, and surrounding that we have dianthus flowers.